what we've learned since Darwin's day is that the cell is so complex. It's really hard to provide an analogy to describe how complex the cell really is, because nothing in human experience compares. None of our marvels of modern technology have the kind of complexity that we have discovered in a cell. And so you can't really point to a thing and say, look, this thing the cell is as complex as this thing, because it's really like a city. It's not just a thing that you can point to that you say the cell has a complexity. This thing is the complexity of an entire city. But that even really kind of pales in comparison as far as an analogy is concerned, because the cell, unlike a city, can copy itself, can make a copy of itself. Bacteria can reproduce every 20 minutes under optimum conditions. So you have something that's able to make a copy of itself, and more than that, it's able to move. Many of these cells have mechanisms that allow them to crawl off in one direction or swim off in one direction. So although a city is complex, it is still not as complex as what we found in the cell, for sure. But and it's strange. We've learned this, and scientists now understand that the cell is this complex. But why do they still hold on to their faith that something like this could form all on its own through purely natural processes? It's a dumbfounding at this point. You can kind of understand how someone back in Darwin's day, who didn't know of this complexity, could assume that something like a cell could form all by itself. But after learning about these molecular machines and these systems in cells, how can they at this point still hold on with faith to this theory that life, somehow a cell just magically formed all by itself through purely natural processes? I mean, it's a level of faith that I think is even greater than the faith that there is a God, because I mean there is evidence for God.